the latest products of Apple is gonna be bought by Chinese company, and then they're gonna break it down into component and try to replace with a much cheaper component to reduce the price of the products. So, so when the competition will learn similar products in near future, we need to go for the skimming pricing strategy. Okay. Four, we're gonna use this when there are limit competitors in the market. Limit competitors. For example, if you are the only seller of that kind of products in the market, you're gonna go for a high price because you are the only one who's selling that kind of products. So when there are limit competitors, we usually go for the skimming pricing strategy. We're gonna charge high price and then reduce our price. And finally, we're gonna use that strategy, that pricing strategy, when innovative products that slow maturity of the market. Okay, so now we move to the penetration pricing strategy. Penetration. This is used to stimulate the market growth and capture market share by deliberately offering products at low price. So on your right hand side, you're gonna see that if you go for the penetration pricing strategy, we're gonna track low price as B2. So this is the B.
Excuse me, doctor.
Yes.
In the last class, we finished the price escalation.
Price escalation. Wow.
Yes.
This one?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so sorry for that. Okay. So price escalation. So what's it? It refers to the add cost incurred as results of exporting products from one country to another country. Price escalation. And why it happened? Why price escalation happened? First, it's gonna happen because of the cost of exporting. The term relates to situation in which ultimate price arises when shipping costs, insurance, packing, tariffs, longer channels of distribution, larger middleman margin, special taxes, administrative costs, and exchange rate fluctuation. So these are the factors that gonna affect the cost of exporting. And taxes, tariff, and administrative costs are the costs that result in higher prices, which are generally passed on to the buyer of the products. Okay, another factor that lead to price escalation involve inflation. And inflation causes consumer price to escalate or increase, and the consumer is faced with rising price that eventually exclude many consumers from the market. So in the table, you're gonna see the inflation rate of different countries, including Vietnam. So in Vietnam, the highest inflation rate is roughly about 28.24%, two-digit figure, and the lowest is minus 2.6%. Minus, it means deflation. Deflation is an opposite of inflation. You understand what I'm saying, guys? Do you
Yes.
do you know inflation?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and Another factor that led to price escalation involved the middleman and transportation costs. So why? Why did leads to price escalation? Okay, guys, why do people engage in the transportation process? Why do people engage in the distribution process? Why? Do you, do you hear my question, guys?
What do you mean by anguish? I don't
Engage
understand.
is similar to take part in the distribution process. Why do people take part in the distribution process?
Because that is one way of distributing the product, since the company isn't large enough or don't have a delivery.
Yes, it's correct. But why? Why they would like to take part in the distribution process? For what purpose? Okay, we already know a manufacturer, okay, supplier, manufacturer, so on and so forth. But I'm gonna start with manufacturer. Okay, and this is gonna be a customer. Pardon? And he's the, middleman. Just
Sir, I think, doctor, I think if we will engage to the distributor process, they will earn the profit between the manufacturer to customer.
Congratulations, you got it. Congratulations. I'm gonna give you 1 bonus point for your answer. Why this? Why do people take part in the distribution process? In order to gain a profit, or in order to make a profit. We don't do business for free, guys. We as businessmen always look for the profit. And because they take part in the distribution process, okay, in order to, to distribute the products to the end customer, and because they want to make a profit, they're gonna increase the price. You understand what I'm saying? For example, if the price is selling at 100 US dollar, so if middlemen want to make 20% markup percentage, so they're gonna buy it and then distribute it to customer for a price at 120. You see the point? So middlemen take part in the distribution process in order to make a profit, and that's the reason why the price tend to increase. The more middlemen involved in the distribution process, the higher the price. So another factor that affect price escalation involve exchange rate fluctuation and varying currency value. Currency values swing vis-a-vis other currency on a daily basis, which may make it necessary to increase prices. Okay, so you guys, I'm gonna give you an example for the price escalation. Okay, you see manufacturing net. in order to distribute the products in the domestic markets, it's going to cost you $5. Okay, so transport CFI stand for cost, insurance, and freight. It's not available. Tariff, not available. Importer pays, not available. So on and so forth. So wholesaler pays land cost, $5. Wholesaler machine, 1/3 on the cost, so it's gonna be $1.67. Retailer pays $6.67. So retail machines gonna, 50% of cost. It means that they want the makeup percentage as 50%. So they're gonna charge another $3.34. So retail price. So this is the end price for the customer, and the customer has to pay $10.01 for the final products. So you see, people engage in the distribution process in order to make a profit. We don't do business for free, guys. Now, look at the for example one. Assuming the same channel with wholesaler importing directly. So, manufacturing nest is the same, $5. Transport, CFI, cost, insurance, and freight going to cost you $6.1. So on and so forth. So when you add up, you see, the price now changed from $10.01 to $14.64. You see it's different, guys? And the price difference include the transport to the foreign market, include the tariff to export the goods to the foreign market. So you see the point? Now, for example 2, importer and sell machine and channel. Okay, so we have exactly same here, but importer pays. Now we have to pay another $7.33 for importer pays. Importer machine when sold to wholesaler, for example, importer machines is roughly about 20% on cost, so it's gonna be $1.83. So you add up, and this is the final price for the customer in the foreign market. So you see the price is increased and continue to increase. If we in the sample 3 we go same as 2, but with 10% accumulated turnover tax. So now we add another 10% accumulated turnover tax. So the price continue to increase. And this is what we call price escalation. You see the point, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So approach to lessen price escalation. We have different approach. The first approach involves the lowering cost of goods. A firm can lower costs by eliminating costly features in products or by manufacturing products in countries where labor costs are cheaper. Lowering cost of goods. So guys, for example, like Samsung. Where is headquarters, guys? Samsung.
Korea.
Korea, correct. Korea. So Samsung want to export imports to Vietnam. So, you know, the tariff, the transportation cost, you know, the profit margins made by middlemen, so on and so forth. It's gonna add up the price. For example, if they sell a product at 1,000 US dollar, so you know the cost for the tariff, for tax, for transportation costs, for middleman, and now when getting to Vietnam, the price go up to 1,500. So in order to reduce the price in the Vietnamese market, what's Samsung gonna do? Instead of exporting its product to Vietnam, Samsung gonna go for direct investment in Vietnam in order to, you know, to make use of the labor costs, in order to take advantage of the cheap labor costs in Vietnam. So they gonna, you know, go for direct investment. In order to reduce the cost. You see the point, guys? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Do you have any problem with the language or with the content? Yes, no?
No.
Okay,
No
another
problem.
approach. Pardon? No? Okay,
Yeah, I'm
another.
fine with it.
Okay, good. Another approach to lower the price or to avoid price escalation is to lower tariffs. Lower tariffs. So firm can lower price by categorizing products in classification where the tariffs are lower. So what does it mean? For example, if your final products to export to the foreign markets is categorized as Pro A, and the tariff gonna be, for example, 100%. So 100% on the price. So in order to lower the price, you know, firms tend to categorize its final products or categorize products its final product as product B category. This one. So for the product B category, to, you know, to export to foreign country, the tariff maybe may lower to as low as 50%, for example, 50%. So you see, so if we categorize our products as product B, then we're gonna save 50% on tariff, and we have, you know, we can reduce our end price before reaching our customer in the foreign market. Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? Guys, do you understand what I'm saying?
Not at all, doctor.
Do you need me to explain in Vietnamese?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Ok, cách thứ hai để mà tránh cái sự đội giá đó là gì các bạn? Sự tăng về giá là gì? Đó là mình sẽ thí dụ mình xuất hàng hóa của mình ra nước ngoài, thì đúng là thí dụ như là mình phải xác định cái hàng hóa xuất ra nước ngoài đó là nó nằm trong cái danh mục hàng hóa A. Ví dụ tại vì mỗi lần mà các bạn xuất nhập khẩu thì các bạn biết, các bạn có học môn nào liên quan đến thương mại xuất nhập khẩu hay là logistics không? Lớp?
Dạ chưa.
Chưa hả? Ok, chắc chưa các bạn chưa hiểu. Thì khi mà bạn xuất qua một quốc gia nào đó thì cục hải quan nó sẽ kêu bạn là kê khai hàng hóa đó của bạn thuộc cái chủng loại gì và mức thuế của hàng hóa là bao nhiêu. Hình dung được không các bạn? Tariffs. Thì thay vì mình phải kê khai hàng hóa của mình vào cái nhóm hàng hóa A đi chẳng hạn, ví dụ vậy, và mức thuế dành cho hàng hóa A là 100%, thì bây giờ sao các bạn? Các doanh nghiệp để giảm cái giá thành ở thị trường quốc tế thì họ sẽ có cách nào nữa các bạn? Thay vì kê hàng hóa của họ là hàng hóa A, họ sẽ luồn lách dựa vô những cái lỗ hổng ha. Họ sẽ kê hàng hóa của họ là hàng hóa B, tại vì hàng hóa B bị đánh mức thuế nhập ít hơn, chỉ 50%. Vậy thì nếu như mà bớt tiền cho cái phần thuế thì có phải là giá thành của sản phẩm cuối cùng khi đến tay khách hàng nó sẽ rẻ hơn không mấy đứa?
Dạ đúng rồi.
Hình dung được chưa? Cách thứ hai.
Yeah.
Do you have any question? Yes, no? Okay. The third
Thầy-
approach. Yes.
Thầy có case study nào để minh họa?
Thầy không có dạy về xuất nhập khẩu mà thầy cũng không dạy về logistics. Nhưng mà các bạn chơi có rất nhiều case. Các bạn lên, ví dụ lên Google các bạn gõ thử một số cái gọi là tips hay là một số cái mẹo để kê khai hàng hóa tránh thuế thì người ta sẽ chỉ cho các bạn. Thì tùy theo cái mặt hàng của các bạn muốn xuất ra thị trường nước ngoài là mặt hàng gì, đúng không các bạn? Thì mặt hàng đó nó có những cái khi kê khai nó có những cái lỗ hổng nào không thì mình sẽ khai thác nữa.
Dạ, em cảm ơn thầy.
Thì nhớ cẩn thận nha, nếu như cái đó mà bị phát hiện là là người ta sẽ hải quan nó phạt các bạn đó nha. Bởi vậy mình cũng có chuyên môn tí xíu hẳn làm ha. Cái gì mà trốn tránh pháp luật, trốn thuế cái gì thì nhớ có chuyên môn hẳn làm. The third approach involves lowering distribution costs. A firm can design channels that are shorter, have fewer middlemen, by reducing or eliminating middleman makeup. Now I'm going to give you an example for this. For example, like manufacturer. Okay, and wholesaler, and then to retailer, and then customer. So, for example, manufacturer selling Xerox at $100. So it's going to distribute Xerox to wholesaler, and wholesaler want to earn 20% markup percentage as markup percentage. So it's going to increase to around 20. So, and the products from the wholesalers is going to be distributed to retailers. And for example, retailers want to add up $20 as their profit. So the price going up to 140 before reaching the final customer. So how can we reduce the price for our customer? Guys, how? We try to eliminate or reducing, we try to eliminate or reduce the middleman. So this guy are called middleman. So for example, if we try to eliminate retailers, so what's going to be the price for our customer, guys? What's going to be the price for our customer?
100.
What?
$100.
Okay. No. I say it again. So you know the information, right? So in order to lower our price before reaching our final customer, we try to eliminate or remove the retailers. So what's gonna be the price for our customer?
120.
Correct. So this is the price that our customer have to pay. Is it correct? So if in another case, if we go directly to our customer, what's gonna be the price for our final customer?
$100.
Yes, 100 US dollar. So you know, lowering distribution costs is a way to avoid the price escalation. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, someone has a 4. And the last one is to use foreign threshold. Can you guys give me an example for foreign threshold? You already learned in chapter 1. WTO after, you know, so on and so forth. Those are foreign threshold, and firm can manufacture products in free thresholds where the incentive offer is the elimination of local taxes which keep price down. Now I'm gonna give you an example for it. I don't think that we have enough space to draw a picture, so I'm gonna use this one. I'm gonna use the whiteboard. Okay. Do you guys remember the steel tariff, guys? Do you guys remember the steel tariff?
Yes.
Vietnam, China. Okay, so what happened in the steel tariff? China export steel to the U.S. and in order to protect the U.S. steel manufacturer and in order to protect the local manufacturer, U.S. U.S. President Donald Trump issued a tariff against the steel import from China. And in order to avoid the tariff, okay, China export its products. I'm gonna use this one. Export its products to the Vietnamese market, and then from Vietnam, they're gonna export the products to the U.S. market in order to avoid the tariffs. You see the point, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so, and if we as international marketer in China, this way to avoid the tariffs can be used to reduce our final price for the customer in the US market. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, dumping pricing policy. We already discussed the dumping price. Okay, World Trade Organization or WTO's at its soft form rules allow for the imposition of a duty when goods are dumped. Okay, so Vietnam is a member of WTO. And one approach classifies international shipments as dumped if the products are sold below their cost of production. So I already explained this case to you, pricing dumping. For example, like, so this is the price of a particular product, and it include the production cost. Oh, not enough space. Okay. So this is gonna be the price. For example, this production cost, and this is gonna be the markup. So price include the production cost plus the markup percentage that we as businessmen would like to achieve. Markup. You already learned markup, right? Guys, you understand what is markup? Tiền lãi, phần lời đó, ổn chưa? Markup percentage. Còn cái này là chi phí sản xuất ha, production cost, có phải giá thành sản phẩm là gồm hai thành phần chính, đó là gì các bạn? Chi phí sản xuất và phần lãi mà mình mong muốn, đúng không các bạn?
Yeah.
Ok chưa? Rồi. So if you set your price below the production cost, so from this point to the bottom, so this gonna be seen as dumping price. So if you set, your products are sold below other cost of production or your competitor cost of production, your pricing is seen as dumping price. Your pricing policy is seen as dumping price. Because, the more you sell your products in the foreign market, the higher the loss. Don't you agree, guys?
No.
No? Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Let's say, I'm going to give you an example for it. Let's say the production cost is $100 US. The markup gonna be $20, so it's gonna be $120. So the price gonna be $120 US. So if you set your price below $100, for example, like from $99 to $1, so this range can be seen as the dumping price. For example, you're selling your products in the foreign market for $99. So your pricing policy is seen as dumping price. If you choose 99, it's below the production cost. So the more you sell in the foreign market, the higher the loss you have to take. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you need me to explain in Vietnamese?
Yes.
Yes. I think that we have 2 or 3 foreign students in the class. Kaso. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm gonna explain it again in Vietnamese, so hard for your understanding. Okay. Các bạn, giá thành thì gồm có 2 phần đúng không các bạn? Cái phần lãi và cái phần chi phí sản xuất đúng không các bạn? Vậy thì bị xem là phá giá khi nào mấy bạn? Bị xem là phá giá khi giá bạn định ra trên thị trường sao các bạn? Thấp hơn cái giá sản xuất, thấp hơn cái chi phí phải bỏ ra để sản xuất. Thầy lấy ví dụ, Giống như trong cái ví dụ đó các bạn, có phải là cái chi phí sản xuất là 100 đồng không? Và bây giờ bạn định giá thấp hơn 100 đồng thì sẽ bị coi là phá giá. Thí dụ từ 99 đồng cho đến 1 đồng, xuống 1 đồng. Giờ thầy lấy ví dụ như 99 đồng thì có phải cứ mỗi sản phẩm bán ra là bạn đang lỗ 1 đồng không? Mình sản xuất phải bỏ đến 100 đồng, khi mình bán có 99 đồng, có phải cứ một sản phẩm bán là mình lỗ 1 đồng không?
Dạ đúng.
Vậy giờ có phải mình càng bán nhiều mình càng lỗ nhiều không?
Dạ đúng.
Đó là lý do tại sao nó gọi là dumping price, phá giá. Dump có nghĩa là ngốc nghếch. Sao mà cứ càng làm ăn là càng thua lỗ là sao? So, okay, so is it clear, guys? You know, is it clear about dumping price? I already
Yes.
explained it in previous session. Okay, so
Totally.
okay, guys, why do people use the dumping price sometimes? For what purpose?
I think because
In order to
eliminate the competitor.
yes, correct. Eliminate the competitor. You see the point, guys? You know, sometimes people use the dumping pricing strategy in order to eliminate the competitors. But guys, is it legal or illegal?
Illegal.
Illegal. Now today, you know, we have regulation to protect local business and to avoid dumping price. It's illegal, guys. The other approach characterize dumping. Okay, so we have two different. As selling goods in a foreign market below the price of the same goods in the home market. So what does it mean? Okay, now I'm going to give you an example for it. Okay, I'm gonna clean up this one. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna use this way to draw a picture. You guys, do you know that I love drawing? I'm pretty good at drawing. Don't you think so?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so Vietnam, China. So we have, you know, two markets. For example, if the product A is selling at $1 in China, in the Chinese market. And what happens if they export the product A to the Vietnamese market and sell it at, for example, $99? What's going to happen? It can be seen as the dumping price. Why? Because the price in the foreign market cannot be lower than the price in the domestic market. This one cannot lower. Do you understand? Do you know why, guys? Do you know the price in the Vietnamese market cannot be lower than the price in the Chinese market, than the domestic market? Why?
To protect the domestic market in Vietnam.
Pardon?
To protect the product in a domestic.
Yes, of course. In order to protect the manufacturer of product A in the Vietnamese market. But why? Okay, so I'm not. I'm going. So why it cannot be lower? Why? You cannot sell the product A in the Vietnamese markets below 100 US dollar. Why? It's an interesting question. I'm going to give one bonus point for any correct answer.
I think because the China have a higher labor cost.
No. No. Who else?
I think it's avoid the hand carrying goods from Vietnamese to China.
No. I repeat my question again. Okay, so for example, this is gonna be price in Vietnam, and then this is gonna be price in China, and China is gonna be the home market, and this is gonna be the foreign market. Okay, so price of the bronze eggs selling in the Vietnamese market cannot be lower than the price in the home market. Why?
I think it's like the gray market. They will buy the product in the fortunes and export back to the China with the lower cost.
No one gonna do that. No.
Maybe is
Okay, I repeat my question again. Why the price of the product A's in the Vietnamese market cannot be lower than the price in the Chinese market? And the Chinese market is the home market, and the Vietnamese market is the foreign market.
Because it's based on the WTO rule.
No. See you next time.
I think because when you import, you have to pay tax or tariff cost.
Yes, tax. You need to pay for the tariffs, for the tax, or for the tax. And what else? What else? Very important.
I think that is logistic cost.
What else? Yes, logistic cost. You got it. You're right. And you're very close. What else? Which cost is very important. When you export the products from one country to another, we have to pay for what cost?
Middleman.
Lady, you are almost there. Your answer is correct. Cannot be lower than the price in the Chinese markets because we, as the middleman, need to pay for the tariffs or taxes. Okay, what else? Just give me one more.
Distribution cost.
Okay, distribution costs. Okay, anyway, I'm going to give you 1 bonus point for your answer, but we don't call it distribution cost. We call it transportation cost. Do you remember this?
Yes.
When we export, you know, the goods from one market to another market, we need to pay for the transportation cost. Now, let's see, 100 US dollar is the price in the home market. And now we need to add the transportation cost. And this gonna be the price in Vietnamese market. So it's not logic. It's not logic. So here it need to be 99 US dollar. So you see the point, guys. It's not logic. 100 plus transportation cost equal 99 US dollar. Is it logic? Guys, is it?
No.
No.
No. Transportation cost cannot be a negative number. So for example, if the transportation cost is 0, so the price in the Vietnamese market is gonna be 100 US dollar. Don't you agree? It cannot be lower than 100 US dollar. It's not low shit. You see the point, guys?
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
If you use dumping pricing,
Yes.
You must to accept the every fees or every cost to dumping your competitor, and it includes the transportation cost or the distribution cost.
You're misunderstanding. You're misunderstanding the approach to categorize dumping pricing. You're misunderstanding. You know, when you set a price, which is not logic, so it can be seen as dumping pricing. For example, like the first case. So this is the first case. You set your price below the production cost. Is it logic?
No.
No. Okay. For the second example, if you set your price in the foreign market below the price in the home market plus the transportation cost, is it logic?
It will be true if you use the dumping price, maybe.
So what do you mean? I haven't got what you mean. I'm sorry. Say it again, please.
I mean, if you use the dumping pricing, truly is your pricing in lower than your competitor, and
No,
no.
you're misunderstanding, guys. Dumping price doesn't mean that your price is lower than your competitor price. No. Dumping price happen when the more you sell your products to the market, the higher the loss you have to take. It's ridiculous. It's not logic. You see the point?
The purpose of dumping is to eliminate the competitors, and when other competitors are gone from the industry, you can higher the price for the next and future contract, so that you can make it up for the profit, for the loss of the
it's true,
previously.
But it's illegal. You know, it's against the law. It's against the laws. No country accepts the dumping price. No, including Vietnam. A couple of years ago, we don't have any laws or regulation to against the dumping price, but now we do. We do have laws and regulations. So, you know, it's not about your price. You set the price lower than your competitors. No. For example, like this one. Look at the example one. The first example. So the price, for example, the price of your competitors is 120 US dollar. So if you want to compete with your competitors, you can set your price lower than 120. So this price grants is legal. So you can set your price as 119, 118, 117, or even $101. So, for example, you can set your price as 119 to 101 US dollar. So this is okay. It's legal. You see what? Here, I'm talking about this case. You see? So if your price is set at $101, it's okay. It's not the dumping price. It's a competitive price. Your price is much lower than your competitors. But what happens if you set the price below $100, $99, what's gonna happen? Is it true that the more you sell your products to the market, the higher the loss you have to take? It's not logic. We as businessmen need to make a profit. We run a business for a profit. We don't run a business for a loss. And it's ridiculous. It's not logic. And that's why it says as dumping price. You understand what I'm saying, guys?
Yes.
Is it clear?
Yes, I got it.
Yes.
I'm gonna explain it again in Vietnamese. Các bạn, không phải là giá mình định giá thấp, đó là gọi là giá cạnh tranh, mà không phải là dumping price. Các bạn hiểu lầm giữa hai cái vấn đề. Các bạn thấy cái giá thành có phải bao gồm là chi phí sản xuất với lại cái lãi mình mong muốn, đúng không mấy đứa? Đúng chưa? Hồi nãy thầy giải thích rồi.
Yeah.
Thì khi mình định giá dưới mức chi phí sản xuất thì mới bị coi là dumping price. Còn mà trên cái chi phí sản xuất nhưng dưới giá của đối thủ cạnh tranh thì cái đó gọi là giá cạnh tranh, đó là giá hợp lệ, đó hợp pháp, không có vấn đề gì hết. Thầy lấy ví dụ như trong cái ví dụ của trường hợp 1, các bạn thấy có phải là giá của đối thủ cạnh tranh, ví dụ người ta bán 120 đồng, mình bán 119 đồng hoặc là 101 đồng, có bị coi là phi pháp, có bị coi là phá giá không? Đó. Không. Cái đó gọi là gì? Mình bóp hẹp cái lợi nhuận của mình lại để mình bán được nhiều, đúng không bạn? Cái đó không bị coi là phi pháp. Mình bán mỗi sản phẩm bán ra mình vẫn có lời mà, nó đâu có phải là thiếu logic đâu, đúng không mấy đứa? Hình dung được không?
Yeah.
Nhưng nếu như mình định mức giá là 99 đô thì chuyện gì xảy ra? Nhà nước nhảy vô can thiệp liền. Tại sao vậy? Đâu có ai khùng mà cứ càng bán là càng thua lỗ mấy đứa. Cái đó là vô lý, cái đó là bất hợp lý, đúng không mấy đứa? Mình sản xuất tiền vốn mình bỏ ra là 100 đồng mà mình bán có 99 đồng, cứ mình bán một món lỗ 1 đồng, bán 100 món lỗ 100 đồng, thì cái đó mới gọi coi là dumping price. Hiểu chưa bạn Nam? Chứ còn giá thấp hơn đối thủ cạnh tranh để là giá cạnh tranh thì cái đó là nó nằm trong cái khoảng đó thì mình mới gọi là, các bạn thấy cái khoảng mà từ 101 đồng đến 119 đồng thì cái đó gọi là cái gì? Cái khoảng giá cho phép để mình thiết lập cái giá cạnh tranh đối với đối thủ của mình, 120 đồng.
Dạ thầy ơi, cho em hỏi xíu. Vậy tức là chỉ cần mình đưa ra cái giá thấp hơn cái giá sản xuất là chính phủ sẽ can thiệp vào. Cứ quy định thời gian không thầy? Ví dụ như là khi mình mới ra mắt cái sản phẩm đó thì mình cho cái giá thấp, mình chấp nhận chịu lỗ một thời gian đầu
nếu như theo
để mà
luật,
mình thu hút.
Nếu như theo luật là cái đó bạn phạm lỗi là người ta thổi liền, chứ không có đợi theo thời gian gì đó. Không có ai đi buôn bán mà để làm ăn thua lỗ đó. Cái đó là chơi xấu để loại bỏ đối thủ đó.
Dạ.
Chứ bạn bán như vậy thì ai cạnh tranh lại bạn nữa, đúng không? Bạn giàu quá, bạn dư tiền, bạn sẵn sàng bạn bỏ tiền ra để bạn kiếm khách hàng, bạn kiếm thị phần, ai chơi lại bạn nữa? Người ta đâu có người ta kinh doanh, người ta phải có lời, người ta đâu thể nào mà cùng lắm là phải làm huề vốn, đúng không? Bạn bán bằng cái chi phí sản xuất là 100 đồng, đúng không? Là coi như không có lãi, đúng không? Thì giống vậy người ta còn cố gắng đánh được. Cái đó là cái gì? Cái đó là chơi xấu người khác, và cái đó là luật sẽ can thiệp liền, không có quy định là bao lâu ha.
Dạ, cái này là price. Vậy còn nếu mà giả sử mình add cái promotion vô, cái giá nó thấp xuống thì nó có bị đánh là ấy không thầy?
Cái promotion hả? Cái này
Tức là mình vẫn định giá của nó là đúng trên cái mức giá sản xuất. Dạ.
Và bây giờ cái thí dụ như cái đó là một cái model cũ và mình chạy cái chương trình khuyến mãi để làm cho mức giá nó giảm xuống, và nó giảm, nó vô tình giảm nhiều hơn là cái chi phí sản xuất luôn. Cái đó thì nó còn, tại vì thí dụ như nó không ảnh, tại vì cái phần lớn á, cái khi mãi á, là do đối thủ cạnh tranh hoặc là do các doanh nghiệp khác kiện bạn, cái phần lớn là chính phủ người ta cũng không tự phát hiện đâu để phạt bạn đâu. Do thí dụ như có hai doanh nghiệp mà bạn chơi xấu, có hai doanh nghiệp thị trường A, B mà bạn là doanh nghiệp A bạn chơi xấu doanh nghiệp B, thì doanh nghiệp B sẽ kiện bạn về phá giá, có lý do để chứng minh là bạn đang phá giá, thì cái đó là bạn bị ấy ha, chứ còn chính phủ mới can thiệp. Và nếu như bạn chạy chương trình khuyến mãi mà để ví dụ những model cũ hoặc là những cái hàng tồn kho bạn không muốn giải quyết nhanh, nó không có còn kiểu như là cái hàng nó cũ quá rồi, thì mình giảm giá để mình bán rẻ khách hàng ha, thì cái đó còn tùy. Là có nghĩa là nếu như cái model bạn bán đó, bạn bán giá rẻ, bán phá giá đó không ảnh hưởng đến cái công ty B và công ty B không kiện cáo bạn, thì nói chung là không có chuyện gì xảy ra hả?
Dạ.
Nhưng nếu như công ty B kiện bạn thì là cái đó coi chừng vẫn bị xem là phá giá nha Vi. Tại vì thí dụ như cái mặt hàng đó bạn cho rằng nó là model cũ, bạn bán, bạn cho chương trình khuyến mãi mà bị giảm giá là thấp hơn giá sản xuất, nhưng sản phẩm đó vẫn đang được kinh doanh trên thị trường bởi công ty B, thì cái đó có phải ảnh hưởng đến công ty B không?
Dạ.
Oh, is it interesting?
Yes.
Okay. So how we set the administer pricing? Administer pricing is an attempt to establish price fixed by government and is mostly based on political consideration. Such price may also be arranged through the cooperation of competitors through national, state, or local governments, or by international agreement. And there are two forms of administrative pricing, including cartel and government influence pricing. I'm going to discuss one by one. Cartels. Okay, as a cartel exists when various companies producing similar products or services work together to control the market for the types of goods and services they produce. Okay, I'm going to give you an example for a cartel. On your right hand side, so you're going to see the OPEC. OPEC is a cartel, and OPEC stands for Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Country. As of 2016, OPEC has 40 member countries, and they account for an estimated 44% of global oil production. So giving OPEC a major influence on global oil price that were previously determined by American-dominated multinational oil company. So why we see OPEC as a cartel? Because this country, work together. They sit down and agree together to control markets or to control the oil price. And that's what we call a cartel. And it exists when various companies producing similar products or services work together to control the market. Is it difficult to understand, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Shall we take a break for 15 minutes? A little bit late. It's 2:10 already, so we're gonna take a break for 15 minutes. Is it okay?
It's okay, doctor.
Okay, so see you in 15 minutes. So what is it? Mean? What do you mean? What does it mean? Your picture?
Just a funny meme. I see the assignment time to assign the task is
1 minute.
12 p.m. So I don't know that's the night or the morning.
I see. So another lecturer says the deadline for your assignment at 12 p.m. Is it?
Yes. So that I don't know. That's the
Yes,
midnight.
I see. Usually we set the deadline at 11:59 p.m. So okay, I understand. Hello, guys.
Hello, doctor.
Okay, shall we continue? Okay. So, okay, so now I'm going to discuss the government influence pricing. And companies doing business in foreign country encounter a number of different types of government price setting. So, in order to control price, government might establish machine or set floor pricing or selling pricing. In order to restrict price trends or to compete in the market or grant subsidies and act as purchasing monopoly or selling monopoly. I'm going to give you an example for government influence pricing. Yeah, for example, in Jamaica, government sets selling a form of administrative pricing or retail price of wheat flour to protect low-income individuals. So you guys already learned flour price and selling price in microeconomics, don't you?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a quick explanation of selling price. Set Okay, so you know the floor and the selling, right? So this gonna be floor, and this gonna be selling price, floor price. So usually for some product categories, the government gonna set the selling price and floor price in order to protect low-income individuals. For example, like with flour. With flour can be seen as essential goods. With flour, sugar, rice, so on and so forth. So it's essential goods. And in order to protect low-income individual, or in other words, in order in other words, individual with low income, the government need to make sure that individual with low income can have, you know, what can I say, can afford to buy essential goods in order to fit themselves, in order to survive. So selling for is the maximum price is set by the government. So if you as an international marketer, we need to set the price below the selling price. You cannot assist the selling price. The maximum price that is allowed for you guys to set your price, selling price. Why the government? Why has the government? What can I say? What do the government need to do so, guys? What happens if international? What happens if we as businessmen set the price above the selling price? What's going to happen? If you set the price above the selling price, what's going to happen?
We can sell with a higher price than the selling price.
We cannot. It's not allowed to set the price above the selling price. Why? What's going to happen to the lower income individuals?
They can buy it because it's very expensive.
Yes, correct. Low income individual cannot, not not able to buy at that price because it's too high for them. Low income, and with flour or essential goods can be seen as essential for them to survive, for them to feed themselves. So we cannot, the government sometimes needs to set selling price. We cannot sell behind the price. Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Do you need me to explain in Vietnamese? Selling price?
No, doctor. I'm fine
Okay.
with your explain.
Okay, so the U.S. government says, for example, another example for floor price. I'm sorry, my turn. The U.S. government set floor price for steel imports to stem flow from China. Okay, floor price. You cannot set the price below the floor price. Why? For example, like the U.S. government set the floor price for steel import from China, because if the government doesn't issue the floor price, who's gonna be affected by the low price steel import from China? Who?
The firm in the domestic market, the local firm.
Correct. The local steel manufacturer in the U.S. markets gonna be affected by the low price for steel import from China. So, in order to protect the local manufacturer in the U.S. market, the U.S. government set the floor price. So, the price cannot go below the floor price. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, doctor.
Yes.
Okay, legally of administer pricing arrangement of various kinds differ from country to country and from time to time. And a country may condone price fixing for foreign markets, but condemn it for the domestic market, for instance. Okay, so now we move to the counter trade as a pricing tool. Okay, counter trade is a pricing tool that every international marketer must be ready to employ. And we have 4 distinct transactions in counter trading. The first transaction in counter trading is called barter. And it is the direct exchange of goods between two parties in a transaction. For example, like, okay, here we have a seller and a buyers of goods and or services. So barter transaction is mean, okay, the seller distributes the goods and or services to the buyer. In return, they're gonna get different kinds of goods and services. You understand what I'm saying? For example, the seller gives the buyer, what can I say, a cow. And then the buyer gives the seller, what can I say, a horse in return. Something like that. A strand. You understand what I'm saying, guys? Brothers. It's a direct exchange of goods between two parties in a transaction.
Yes.
And this transaction is not used anymore in nowadays, but very long time ago, before Chris, we usually use the borrowers as the main transaction. Very long time ago. Another type of transaction is called compensation deals, and it is the payment in goods and in cash. Compensation. Now I'm going to give you an example for it. Let's say, seller. So this is seller. So, and this is buyer. Okay. No, another one. Payment in cash. Okay. Sorry, I put it another way around. This is gonna be buyer. This is gonna be seller. Okay, so for example, seller provide the buyer with goods and or services, for example, goods. And in return, they're gonna get payment in cash as well as payment in set of goods. Now I'm going to give you an example like seller to buyer, for example, like steel, raw material. Okay, I'm gonna sell you, a couple of tons of steel for your production process or for your further production. Okay, in return, the buyer is gonna give the seller payment in cash. Okay, for example, like 50% of the bill in cash. For example, if the bill costs $1 million US, then the buyer is gonna give the sellers 500,000 US dollar, 50% of the bill, and 50% the buyer is gonna pay back by the set of goods. For example, like car, 15% cash, and 15%, for example, like car. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's what we call compensation deals.
Yes.
Is it clear, guys? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The third transaction is called counter purchase or offset trade. And the first type of counter purchase or offset trade is called direct offset trade. So direct offset trade happens when some components of the item sold are to be manufacturing within the buyer's country, and that the seller agrees to buy those components to use them in-house. Now, on your right-hand side, you're gonna see a diagram of direct offset. Okay, so for example, seller they sell passenger plane to the buyer. For example, seller is Boeing. Okay, sell passenger plane to the buyer in Vietnam. So the yellow color represents the buyer country, or we call it Vietnam, if you like. So this is gonna be Vietnamese market. So, and in return, the buyer will make payment of passenger plane in foreign currency, less the spare part produced in buyer country. For example, like okay, the buyer is gonna deal with another seller of spare part. And they're gonna, you know, the buyer is gonna provide spare part of passenger plane to the seller of spare part, and then they're gonna get payment of spare part of passenger plane in local currency. And once they get, you know, the payment in local currencies, they're gonna pay back to the buyer in the foreign market less the spare part produced in parent country. Okay, so now I'm going to give you an example. It's a little bit confused. It's a little bit confusing. Okay, passenger plane, for example, like how can I say it? Passenger plane. Okay, so for example, passenger plane, less spare part produced. Okay, without tires. So, for example, passenger plane without tires is bought from the Boeing in the foreign market. Is it okay? So the buyer in the Vietnamese market has to pay the bill for a passenger plane without tires. And how to, you know, how to get the tires? They're gonna order from the seller of spare part in the Vietnamese market for tire. Okay, so order spare part. And they're gonna, you know, the payment of spare part of passenger plane in local currency. And this is what we call direct offset. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Guys, do you understand what I'm saying?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. I'm gonna give you another example. Forget it. Another example. Like product H include 3 components. Component 1, component 2, and component 3. So instead of buying a whole product A from the seller in the foreign market, the buyers in the Vietnamese markets only buy component 1 and component 2. Is it okay?
Yes.
And because they buy only component 1 and component 2, they only have to pay for these 2 components and less component 3. The buyer in the Vietnamese markets doesn't have to pay for component 3. Is it okay? It's okay now?
Yes.
It's clear, right? Okay, so then the buyer in the Vietnamese markets gonna order component 3 from the seller of spare part in the Vietnamese market. Is it clear? So component 1 and 2 get from the seller in the foreign market. Component 3, they're gonna get it from the seller of spare part in the Vietnamese market. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes.
And then, you know, they just, you know, put this component together to create a passenger plane. That's what we call direct offset. Is it clear, guys?
Yes. I'm clear.
Do you guys have any question for direct offset trade? Do you have any question? Yes, no? Okay, let's move on. Now we move to the indirect offset trade. Indirect. It happens when the buyer requires the seller to enter into a long-term industrial or other cooperation and investment, but this cooperation or investment is not related to goods supplied by the seller. Okay, now on your right hand side, you're going to see an example of indirect offset. The seller sells a business plan to the buyer, and in return, the buyer is going to make a payment of business plan in foreign currency less investment in buyer's country. And you know, the amount of investment in private country from the seller, the buyer is going to pay for the rest as the investment in local currency by the seller, such as two-part factory. Okay, now I'm going to give you another example for it, a much easier example. Okay, so if the seller sell a product at $1 or $100 million, for example, to the buyer. So the buyer gonna pay back $80 million. So this guy, okay, I'm gonna provide you a business plan for $100 million, and the buyers, in return, the buyers gonna pay back $80 million. So how about $20 million? Where does it go? $20 million gonna go to the chipboard factory run by the seller. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what we call indirect offset. Guys, do you understand what I'm saying? Is it much clearer? Okay. Do you have any question for indirect offset? Do you have any question? If you don't have any question, then I'm gonna have a question for you guys.
I think it is quite difficult to understand. Could you explain my Vietnamese one more time?
This one or the previous one as well? This one? Is it okay for you guys? Do you mean? Okay, I'm gonna explain it again in Vietnamese. Counter trade. Sự hay là trao đổi qua lại ha các bạn. Offset trade. Thì mình có hai hình thức. Thứ nhất nó gọi là direct offset trade, là trao đổi trực tiếp qua lại ha. Thí dụ như là người bán các bạn bán sản phẩm cho người mua, người bán là ở thị trường nước ngoài ha, cái này là foreign market. Còn cái này là domestic. Bán sản phẩm cho người mua, ok, thì thí dụ như bán thì phải thanh toán tiền đúng không các bạn? Đồng ý không? Thì bây giờ thí dụ như bán cái sản phẩm A, người bán sản phẩm A cho người mua. Ổn chưa? Và thí dụ sản phẩm A này gồm có 3 thành phần chính để cấu thành cái sản phẩm A, thí dụ như component 1, 2, 3 đi. 3 thành phần chính lắp ráp lại để ra được cái sản phẩm A. Ổn chưa? Đến đây ổn chưa?
Được rồi.
Yeah.
Ok, thì thay vì bán đầy đủ hết một cái sản phẩm A, hoặc là bán ba cái component, 3 cái thành phần này cho người mua đúng không? Thì giờ người mua chỉ đặt hàng 2 cái component thôi. Cái 2 cái thành phần, thành phần 1, thành phần 2 thôi. Ổn chưa? Thì tôi mua 2 cái thành phần 1 phần 2 thì có phải là tôi chỉ trả tiền 2 cái thành phần 1 và 2 đúng không? Đồng ý không?
Dạ.
Vậy còn thành phần 3 lấy đâu ra? Thay vì thành phần 3 phải mua nước ngoài, thành phần 3 là sao? Người ta mua ở trong nước. Ổn không? Vậy lý do tại sao tao mua trong nước các bạn? Thứ nhất, nếu như mua trong nước thì nó làm sao, giá nó sẽ làm sao mấy đứa?
Nó rẻ hơn.
Nó rẻ hơn. Tại sao nó rẻ hơn? Nó không bị tính chi phí gì?
Train spot station.
Chi phí vận chuyển đúng không các bạn? Thuế đúng không các bạn? Vân vân đúng không các bạn? Vậy hình dung được cái direct offset trade chưa?
Dạ rồi.
Ok. Đến cái thứ hai, nó gọi là indirect offset trade, có nghĩa là trao đổi qua lại mà gián tiếp ha. Tạm dịch vậy, thầy cũng không biết dịch tiếng Việt sao nữa. Rồi người bán cho người mua, thí dụ bán một cái sản phẩm gì đó trị giá là 100 triệu đi, ổn chưa? Ổn chưa? Thì bán sản phẩm mà trị giá 100 triệu thì người mua phải trả cho người bán là bao nhiêu? Có phải 100 triệu không mấy đứa? Ủa, tôi bán sản phẩm tương ứng giá trị 100 triệu thì có phải là phải trả tôi 100 triệu không? Ủa,
Dạ.
Trời ơi, bắt đầu bị hỗn loạn rồi. Trả 100 đúng không? Nhưng mà giờ thay vì tôi trả cho anh 100, tôi trả cho anh 80 thôi. 80 triệu. 80 triệu đô, vậy còn 20 triệu đô nó rớt đâu mấy đứa? Thì thay vì tôi cũng trả anh thêm 20 triệu đô là đủ 100 đúng không? Tôi thay vì phải chuyển ra nước ngoài để trả cho anh, tôi lấy 20 triệu đô tiền trả cho anh đó, tôi bỏ vào trong cái đầu tư của anh ở thị trường trong nước. Cái màu vàng thấy không? Ổn không mấy đứa? Chỉ có phải tổng cộng vẫn là 100 triệu đô không?
Yeah.
Dạ.
Vậy thì làm cách này thì mình tiết kiệm được cái gì mấy đứa? Tránh được cái gì? Tránh được cái gì? Có phải tránh được những cái rủi ro về thay đổi tỷ giá không?
Dạ đúng.
Thay vì giờ mình phải lấy đồng trong nước, đồng tiền thị trường nội địa, mình phải đổi ra đồng nước ngoài để mình thanh toán cho người ta 100 triệu đúng không? Mà giờ thí dụ tỷ giá nó trên đội, tỷ giá quy đổi nó đang bất lợi cho mình, vậy thì sao bạn? Mình sẽ thương lượng với nó, mình trả 80 thôi đúng không? Còn lại 20 thì sao? Mình sẽ dùng luôn cái đồng tiền nội địa của mình để làm chi? Mình trả cho nó ở những cái dự án nó đầu tư ở nước mình đúng không? Hiểu chưa? Is it clear?
Yes.
The last one, buyback, is the last transaction type. And under the buyback agreement, the seller supply plan, equipment, or technology and agrees to buy goods produced with that plan or equipment as payment. Buyback. Okay, now the seller's gonna sell the buyer plant, machinery, equipment, and technology, so on and so forth. So in return, they're gonna get, payment in cash as well as goods produced by this plant. For example, like the seller, the seller sell steel to the buyer. Okay, now I'm gonna, sell you meter of steel for you as material for your further production. Okay, in return, for example, like you only have to pay me, let's say, for example, 50% cost, and what else? 50% car, because you're gonna use this steel to make car, so you can pay me 50% of the bill as your final products. Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? Buyback.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So why purchaser impose contract obligation? The purchaser impose contract obligation in order to reserve hard currency. I already mentioned about this. Extra currency fluctuation in order to avoid the disadvantage from the exchange rate. Sometimes we need to decide to use counter stress and to improve the balance of trade. How to improve the balance of trade? Now I'm going to give you an example for it. The balance of trade. No, not this one. Yeah, this one. So, for example, this one. If you import, if you as the buyer import all three components, 1, 2, 3, from the foreign market to the domestic market, so you know it's gonna create what can I say? What can I say? An import surplus. Have you ever heard of that term? Surplus. It means that the import of a particular country or the import of the domestic market exceeds the export. Import exceeds the export. You understand what I'm saying, guys?
Yes.
So, you know, sometimes we use quota trading in order to balance the trade between countries. So quiet. Do you need me to explain in Vietnamese?
Yes. Yes, doctor.
Các bạn, nếu như các bạn nghĩ là thí dụ như các bạn thỉnh thoảng các doanh nghiệp hay là chính phủ các bạn sử dụng cái thương mại qua lại counter trading để làm gì bạn? Để cân đối cái xuất nhập của một quốc gia. Các bạn, nếu như một quốc gia mà toàn là nhập không hoặc là nhập quá nhiều thì quốc gia nó sẽ là gì các bạn? Có phải là nhập siêu không? Không kích thích nền kinh tế của các doanh nghiệp trong nước, đúng không bạn? Không, các doanh nghiệp trong nước người ta đa số người tiêu dùng ta nhập từ nước ngoài không mà. Vậy thì sao các bạn? Đôi khi người ta sẽ sử dụng cái trao đổi thương mại, cái thương mại qua lại này để làm cái gì các bạn? Để kích thích, để tạo công ăn việc làm cho sản phẩm của các doanh nghiệp sản xuất trong nước, đúng không? Và làm gì nữa? Để cân đối cái cán cân xuất nhập, đúng không ạ? Thì thay vì giờ mình nhập, ví dụ mình nhập 3 thành phần, giờ mình chỉ nhập 2 thành phần thứ ba mình để cho ai sản xuất? Có phải là doanh nghiệp trong nước sản xuất không?
Yeah.
Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
Okay, and another purpose of using quota trades is to get access to new market, or to upgrade manufacturing capabilities, or to maintain price of export goods, or to force reinvestment of process. To get access to a new market, so I don't need to explain this part, but to upgrade manufacturing capacity. Now let's start this one. Upgrade. So you know, instead the seller, what can I say? Okay, so instead of sending its investment to the domestic market to invest in the triple factory, now through quota trading, the seller, you know, can what can I say? Can use the quota trading as a way to invest in its triple factory, or to upgrade triple factory. That's what I mean. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thanks God. Ooh. or to maintain price of export goods. Okay, price of export goods, or to foster investment of process. You know, you can use this example to understand the point. We don't have much time left, so I'm gonna get through it quickly. And in order to be proactive color strategy, in order to apply proactive color strategy, we need to answer the following question before entering into a color strategy agreement. Is there a ready market for the goods buyers? Okay. You know, in order to let the culture track happen, the buyer and the seller need to agree on the counter trade. Do you understand what I'm saying? So what happened? So for example, like this case, what happened if the seller doesn't agree to get their payment in cars and car? What's gonna happen? Guys? Have you got my question?
Can you repeat once again?
Okay. Okay. In order to oh my goodness, that's the problem of using two different languages. You know, that's a switch in my mind, and when I switch to English, it's okay. But suddenly I switch to Vietnamese and then switch back. I got a problem with what can I say? Language conflict. Okay, guys, yeah, you see.
Dạ thầy có thể hỏi bằng tiếng Việt luôn để tụi em.
Oh no, it's okay, it's okay. Give me a minute. It's okay, it's fine. You know, it's fine. It's gonna be fine. Okay, the counter trading only happen when the buyer and the seller agree on the barter. Now, what's gonna happen in this case? What's gonna happen if the seller does not agree to get 50% cash and 50% car in return? What's gonna happen? The buyback agreements go
disappear.
No, not disappear. What can I say? There's no agreement on the buyback, so it's not gonna happen. Okay, I give you, for example, like 1 million of steel. In return, you need to pay me 100% in cash, and then this buyback agreement's not gonna happen. So in order to so the counter trading only happen when the seller and buyers agrees on, what can I say, on the good brothers. Okay, so the seller need to agree on the buyers because it's good for the seller, and it must be good for the buyer as well. So agreement, there must be an agreement between the buyer and the seller. You understand what I'm saying, guys?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna use Vietnamese. Chuyện gì xảy ra nếu như thí dụ trong trường hợp này các bạn, người bán, người ta bán, có phải bán nguyên liệu là thép không? Bán thép và người ta chỉ đòi là trả bằng tiền mặt, người ta không chịu trả 50% là thành phẩm. 50% là thành phẩm. Vậy thì cái gọi là thương mại qua lại giữa hai người bán và người mua trong trường hợp này có xảy ra không mấy đứa?
Dạ
Không đúng không?
Dạ không.
Vậy thì muốn thương mại qua lại xảy ra giữa người bán và người mua thì nó làm sao bạn? Phải có sự đồng thuận của cả hai bên đúng không bạn? Và nó phải mang lại lợi ích cho cả hai bên đúng không bạn? Hiểu ý thầy đang nói gì không?
Dạ hiểu.
Okay, good. Another question that you need to answer is whether the quality of the good offer consistent and acceptable. The quality of the goods offer. I'm going to give you an example for it. Which one? Okay, let's take this one. What's going to happen if the componentry with a export from a seller of spare part in the domestic market doesn't meet the quality standard? What's going to happen if the componentry with a export from the seller of spare part in the domestic market doesn't meet the quality standard? What's going to happen? Have you got my question, guys? Guys? So far. I'm listening. What's going to happen?
The agreements will come to the end.
Yes. What can I say? The cover trading is not going to happen. So you got the point. The quality of goods offer. The next question we need to answer involves whether an expert is needed to handle the negotiation. You know, in order to what can I say? In order to set an agreement for a browser, we need some expert advice, or we need an expert for what can I say, for handling the negotiation. The last question is whether the contract price is sufficient to cover the cost of barter and net the design revenue. The contract price. Is the contract price sufficient to cover the cost of barter? Now, let me give you an example for it. Also, in order to handle barter negotiation, we need to hire some experts. We need to pay for the fee. You know, we need to design a contract to sign between the seller and the buyer, so on and so forth. So that's what we call the cost of a barter. The cost. So we need to assess whether the contract price is sufficient to cover the cost. It means that we need to assess whether the benefit brought by the counter trading exceeds the cost of barter. You understand what I'm saying? Guys? Is it okay?
Yes, I'm okay with.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good. Oh my God, we don't have time for the next slide, so I'm gonna stop here, and we're gonna get back to this on Friday. Is it okay for you guys?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay, good. Oh. It's funny, isn't it? Now I'm gonna check for your attendance. Oh, what's going on? What are these guys? Phòng khảo thí 1, khảo thí 2, khảo thí 3, khảo thí 4. What are they? Guys, do you have any idea?
Không biết luôn đó thầy ơi.
Thầy cũng không biết luôn á. Gì mà nhiều phòng khảo thí liên quan đến lớp học quá vậy?
Cái này bên trường hay sao thầy? Nhiều quá.
Vụ gì nữa? Mấy đứa có
Chắc
Em
là
không biết thầy.
người ta add một lần hết tất cả các lớp trong trường đó thầy.
Khổ ha. Phạm Thị Ngọc Thúy, are you listening? Ngọc Thúy?
Dạ có thầy ơi.
Ok. Ban thanh tra UF absent. Mai Trâm Anh. Mai Trâm Anh. Mai Trâm Anh is absent.
Dạ đây.
Ủa? Sao cái ái của em nó không có lên vậy Trâm Anh?
Dạ em đâu không biết nữa thầy ơi.
Không biết.
Dạ.
Rồi. Ok. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna check for your bonus point. Let me take note for your bonus point. Hôm nay ai được điểm cộng?
Dạ Ngọc Hân ạ. Dạ 1 điểm cộng ạ.
Ngọc Hân. Ok. Ai nữa?
Dạ Hoàng Phúc 1 ạ.
Hoàng Phúc 1. Ai nữa?
Hoàng Nguyên thầy.
Hoàng Nguyên. Mấy Nguyên? Mấy cộng Nguyên?
Dạ em cũng không nhớ là thầy. Em quên mất.
Em mấy cộng? Em tên gì? Ai nữa không? Ai được điểm cộng nữa không? Okay, that's all for today, guys. See you on Friday. And do not forget your midterm assignment. Okay, just a quick reminder. You need to click on assignment. And you're gonna see midterm assignment. Deadline is gonna be at 11:59 p.m. on Friday. Oops. Today? Today is the deadline for your midterm assignment. Jesus.
Yes. So everyone has to turn in or just
no, just
delete
one member in a group. I mean, if you need to submit in a group, it means that okay, only one member of your group submit your midterm assignment. That's fine.
Yes.
Just one. No need to, no need to, what can I say? Tell your member to submit individually. No need. You can submit in groups. Just ask one member to go to midterm assignment and submit the results. Okay. So that's all for today, guys. And today is the deadline for your midterm assignment. Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, student.
Goodbye, doctor.
Doctor.
Have a good day.